Jonathan, what was it?
It's Tuil. Tuil
Like that. I knew I was gonna mess that up because I had asked that. And you're a fashion designer, but you've been working with brands for a long time, right?
Yes, I mean, like, honestly, I've been kind of in and around the scene for a pretty decent amount of time. I mean, when I was 16, now I'm 27, I kind of started just doing retail, just working around designers, and just wherever I could kind of like fit myself into any pocket, I would definitely just be around as much as possible and try to show value. I mean, one of my first ever things that kind of launched me into fashion, you know, it'll be a short little story, but I was around 16 years old and we were doing a charity event in Malibu for my family has a big charity in Africa called March to the Top.
Oh, really?
So yeah, go check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely great. You got a bunch of projects in Kenya and Africa, so
awesome.
it's great. I got to actually go and experience it on my own, so I've been there and it's amazing. But so we're in Malibu and I'm out there, you know, and these Italian guys came and they were selling the jewelry. You know, we had a bunch of like wealthy people coming by. You know the whole little schmoozing thing. You know the whole deal.
Right.
I tried to get as involved as possible. I'll never forget. And I was just kind of like, I don't know how to say this probably, but I was just working on one woman, but I know it was just like loving my vibe, my energy, and like, you know, I was just showing her, like kind of talking to her things that I liked, but I was also like just engaging with her, and I've always kind of had that skill set, just like always wanting to like get to know people and engage with them.
I could tell because when you got in here, I instantly felt like we're connecting, and it was just like, oh, this is just flowing. It's good. Like I'm not like pulling nails for this. Sometimes it's like, I'm trying to.
Right, like having to steal the information. So like I'm working on her, and I know she has a husband too, and I've like studied a bit of psychology already at this point, because it was always been something that like really intrigued me. But so I knew that there was a little bit of a game here. I already knew that she liked me, you know, as a person. I knew that she liked the piece. And I knew there was this other element of the husband. And then, I mean, long story short, I kind of just like stayed. I mean, we talked for maybe 4 hours. We were just there, like locked in, just working on this one piece. And I'm like, this is the one you need to get. I'll never forget. Like, I finally made the decision. I'm like, this is the closing period. And every salesman kind of knows there's a period where you gotta just close. You know what I mean? You can have the deal dangling forever, but you gotta just do it. I remember telling her like, yeah, you gotta get the rose gold.
Right. So you've always had like an instinct for the whole game, and like it's just always.
And that's really where the passion started. Is right that moment, because then she actually ended up buying it. It was $16,000.
Damn.
You know, obviously it was the biggest sale of the day. These designers were like looking at me like, who the hell is this kid? You know, like me walking up to the register with her, like getting, getting the payment for it. They were like, who are you? Do you ever want to come to New York? And that kind of started my journey. And then I would go to New York every summer, work for this group called Fado Manila. They're like these amazing designers. And then they just really believed in me, you know, they really pushed me, and they would like have me carry $500,000 worth of jewelry at 17, 16 down to New York, in plastic bags, like, you know, just hidden, and you'd be like, okay, go drop this off here, go pick this up there, and that kind of gave me this encouragement to be like, all right, I can do this, I can be around this world. Then retail, you know, was something great. It was definitely a training world, being around very old women, just all competing for you know, commission, and dude, it's like a wild jungle, and I'm just like a young lamb here, and it was a great experience, you know, but things started to shift, and especially when I went to college in Italy and Rome. Obviously it started like every college kid. I was just partying and raging. And
oh yeah, how was that? How was it out there?
I mean, you know, leaving America, you leave a completely set of, you know, comfort zone.
It must have taken a lot of courage, man.
Of course, I had a little bit of an advantage. My mother's Italian, my dad's French. I'm first generation American. Both my parents are extremely fresh up in both, but definitely got an esque of it already, you know, growing up in the culture around them. So going to Italy for me was more like, all right, going back home and getting to experience something that is definitely in my like culture. And then after a year of partying, you know, long story short again, I met someone clubbing, and one of my good club promoter friends was like, hey, like, you should definitely talk to my buddy MD, you know, like he works for this brand called Brady Melville, you should chop it up with him. And I was like, and at the time I had no idea about this brand at all, and I would talk to him and be like, you need help, I do this, I do that, you know, and I just showed my ambition and like what I wanted to do, and he's like, yeah, come to the factory, this is what we're doing. And long story short, Brady Melville, whoever's listening to the podcast, you know, knows it's a huge women's brand. And these guys are Italian. Everyone thinks it's an American brand, but it's two Italian guys that have been finessing from Italy. And, you know, they have a system where half of the team came to America and built a bunch of stores in LA. And basically they use LA culture as the basic foundation for all their designs. And of course they wanted an LA kid who knew that dynamic, you know, and they would basically just travel with girls around Europe and go and, I mean, I can say this now, we'd go and steal like from Urban and different places. We'd go buy, not steal, sorry. We'd go buy and then I would steal the concepts and redesign them basically. And that's basically how we did it. And then we went to LA, and That was basically that, and that also then that upgraded me to that next stage. I was like, oh wait a second, retail, this and that is great, sales, but now I'm a designer, now I'm traveling, now I'm working with a group, and I was like, wait, what is this turning into? And I still wasn't even sure at the time, but then it definitely started to grow and manifest itself, and then when I got to LA, of course went into a dark hole period again.
Oh yeah, why is that?
LA is a dark hole, man. You come, you want to make friends again,
you know. It's like going on to that gets me to my first question that I think will tie in perfectly. With that whole thing, what do you think would be your best advice for, you know, anyone that is getting bullied or having dark times? What helped you get through that to turn it into like a positive? Like what helped? Because the whole podcast is about like anti-bullying. You know, we do assemblies, and through the years I've done a lot of like anti-bullying clubs at school. So a lot of our listeners are like kids that are part of the club or students that grown with us. So that's a great question. Like through your dark times, or because that's usually dark when you're getting bullied too. What helped you overcome that? Like what got you?
That's a great question. Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely, I mean that's huge. I mean, even to even start on that topic. I mean, even though I was a kid that was very blessed, and I would just be a group jumper. I'm actually a big nerd. So for any nerds out there, I watch anime. I play video games. Yeah. I am like the ultimate nerd. Like I read like. I actually use that to my advantage now, but definitely when I was young, it definitely was not the easiest thing to get girls or like, you know, to like use that technique, you know what I mean? But to get out of that dark time, I definitely, touching back on a thing that you had messaged me earlier about self-love.
Right.
This concept of self-love, I know it's kind of corny in a lot of senses, but in reality, it's your strongest weapon.
Right.
Because the more you love yourself in the sense of your security, with your own mind, your own heart, and the way that you know you are as an individual, there's nothing that anyone can truly say to you that can affect you. Exactly. And in reality, you have to understand there's psychology on a two-way street here, right? The person who is bullying you is doing this action due to most likely a fear or an insecurity within themselves, and the only way they can make themselves feel better is by bringing you down, right? So if you're already knowledgeable about this thing, and you already can equip yourself with a weapon and defense system to be like, look, this person is probably in more pain than I am, you know what I mean? And they're using this moment to try to like raise the rank. And anyone who knows LA, you know, people social climb and do all the same thing. It's the same thing as a little kid trying to social climb. Right. And this little world and this little bubble of being like, I'm cooler than him. You know what I mean? I'm funnier than him, which is fine. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna buttercup it. You know, I'm not gonna like make and say it's all sweet and be like, yo, everyone should just be like frolicking down the field. No, at some degree, you know, a lot of my mentors have told me, you know, like life is about fighting and, you know, survival of the fittest, but I do believe it can be done with kindness at the same time. You know what I mean? There's a balance to that, and I think that you would definitely get a lot more, and I don't believe I'm saying this is definitely my mom and my dad saying right here that just you become your parents. Like it's
no, you do.
It's like you get a lot more with like sugar than you do with salt. That's something my parents would always say to me, and I hated that saying, but it's so true. And once you get to master that, I mean, people will start to just treat you differently.
Exactly.
And also, one big thing, is for people that are bullying you or making fun of you, do not feed into it.
Exactly.
Like if someone says, yo, you have buck teeth, I would recommend making a joke about yourself with buck teeth. You know what I mean? I'd be like, call yourself Beaver for all it takes. Cause, I mean, maybe not that exact example, but there's a certain power that you eliminate from the person the second that you take it away from them. You know, because what they want is a reaction of you being unhappy.
Exactly.
And other people laughing. But now if you made it a joke and now you made everyone else laugh, and you did what they were trying to do, and that's upsetting them, and now maybe they won't even try to do it again because now they're like, damn, this didn't work out the way I planned it. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a big defense, and that's what it took me a long time to just remember that. I came back to LA and I was like, I want to be this again, I want to be this cool kid, I want to do that, I want to be with the right people, I want to work quickly, I want to jump into all this. But me doing that was making myself vulnerable to caring about what other people think. You know, and that made me weaker. You know what I mean? And that made me not work as strong, and it made me lost kind of in an LA system of being like, I need to prove myself consistently to people that, number one, don't even care, and two, it's like...
It's funny that you're saying this because that's exactly all the things I went through when I was having a depression and I was like feeling down to overcome it. So, and it's crazy how we all go through that same thing, but we do it without like acknowledging of the other person. Like you went through the same stage that I went through, where it was like, you know, a lot of my insecurities were reflecting on the way I was going about in life. So I realized, man, who cares? Like these people don't matter. Like I love myself and I'll attract the right people.
Absolutely. And like just you even saying that, like I was looking at my nails, like yesterday I painted my nails, right? So whoever was listening, my nails were mostly black except I have a hot pink side.
Right.
And a lot of people will always be like, yo, why do you paint your nails? And like, even in the way that they're asking me that question, you can already hear the connotation of like negativity.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, they don't even know why it's negative. They just know it's just something that they're not used to. And they're like, but this kid's cool. You know, I've been blessed now, so okay, cool, that people think I'm cool, right? But imagine they're still questioning me on something like your nails are painted, right? And they're trying at some degree to judge you. And it's like, you just gotta be like, dude, I think it's dope. You know what I mean? Like it's so difficult to just sometimes stand up to that person who's bullying you and just be like, this is what I think is cool. Like, are you gonna continue to bother me? I mean, you know what I mean? I do advocate for standing up at some degree for yourself.
Right.
Because sometimes bullies won't ever understand just kindness because they weren't explained that language growing up. You know, maybe they weren't raised with a family that actually explained to them how to actually communicate an issue or to actually be like, I have a problem with something, help me with this. Right. You know what I mean? The only way they know how to communicate is through anger and fear. And so anyone listening to this, you know, again, those people are more likely in pain than you are. So you can reach out to those people and also just kind of like level with them and also whatever it takes to find equal ground. I think in the long run, it'll be much more pleasant to find that everyone is much more alike than they are different.